name is Miriam from Gigi's Bridal, a high vibe bridal boutique in Fort Lauderdale. If you found our segment, chances are you haven't started looking for your wedding just yet, but you're doing your research, or you've tried on a few, but you're starting to feel a bit overwhelmed. Either way, welcome. Each week we break down and slow down all things wedding dress shopping and aim to simplify your journey in saying yes to your dress. We promise to always keep it real and keep it honest. If you have questions about anything you hear about today or would like to hear about in the future, please let us know. I promise you're not alone and we'd love to tackle it together. Last week, we covered the difference between an A-line and ballgown silhouette and how to decide which one's right for you if you're between the two. This week, we are deconstructing a wedding dress and talking about the different elements that can make a dress uniquely flattering for you. Every dress is styled and constructed differently, but it really comes down to a few key elements. You've got the sleeves, the neckline, bodice, and skirt. Small details in each of these elements can change the overall vibe of the dress. So when looking at a dress, look at it as a whole, but if something really stands out to you from either of these elements that makes you fall in love with the dress, that is perfectly understandable, and that's what brings out your unique personal style. Let's start with the neckline. A plunging neckline is really flattering for brides who want to elongate their neck and accentuate their collarbone. Necklines that come down don't particularly have a lot of cleavage, so speak with your seamstress if you'd like to create a modesty panel or some lace to kind of distort from the plunge. Moving on to the sleeves, a dress with the off-the-shoulder sleeves is a very romantic and timeless look. This kind of drapery creates some dimension to the neckline and doesn't commit you to an entirely strapless or sleeved dress. We'd love to make a note on the technicality of off-the-shoulder sleeves. They're great for ceremonies where you might not need a whole lot of range of motion. As you move into the reception and you want to dance and hug your loved ones, you might find that your range of motion is a bit more limited. To counter this, you could always have the sleeves removed, or oftentimes they can be pulled up so it's more of a strap and less off the shoulder. Off the shoulder sleeves are feminine and you can get creative on the texture of the sleeves. You can add some light tulle so that it is airy and has a softer look to it. Oftentimes designers will have a sleeve that actually is a continuation of the dress, so you can perfectly match the dress to the sleeve. If you're buying your dress but would like to add this option, speak with your seamstress on the best way to have a continuation of the dress, although you don't have the exact lace. Again, we've talked about this before. The goal here is to complete and not compete when it comes to different elements of your wedding day look. For my brides who are warm-bodied by nature, this is made for you. If you like the A-line or ball gown fit, but are concerned about how hot it gets underneath the dress, totally valid concerns. Adding or having a slit in your dress gets some airflow underneath so you aren't uncomfortable the day of your wedding. A corseted bodice does two things. At the top, it gives you that upper support, and at the bottom, it cinches your waist. Regardless if you're wearing a mermaid or ball gown silhouette, you'll notice that it brings in the waist ever so slightly so that it accentuates the flare out on a larger silhouette, or continues that seamless cinching through the thigh and out for a mermaid. Or for my brides who are concerned about feeling comfortable and supported on your wedding day and want that extra support, looking for a corseted bodice that already has the boning and the structure built in to give you that support is a great option. You can tell if a dress has a corseted bodice by actually feeling the bodice itself. You'll notice a firmer wiring boning within the gown, and that's how you'll know that you'll get that extra support without doing a lot of extra work to the dress. Keep in mind that there are key parts of a wedding dress: the sleeves, the neckline, bodice, and skirt. However you decide to translate your personal style into your wedding dress, one or all of these elements can be what brings in your personal style. There are no rules when it comes to your wedding dress, so be sure to just pick something that makes you feel like the most beautiful and confident version of yourself. If you found today's segment helpful and don't want to miss a chat, please follow us on your favorite social media platform or subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Next week, we are talking about a hot topic, bridal sizing. This is actually going to come into two parts. Next week, we'll talk about how we got here and why bridal sizing is the way that it is. And then the following week, we are covering where do we go from here and how does the wedding industry become more size inclusive.